Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Are the Cleveland Browns becoming the new Oakland Raiders? Probably not. They need another year of Freddie Kitchens at the helm for that to happen. And sorry, I don't feel that about Myles Garrett compared to Ted Hendricks or Jack Tatum or even Lyle Alzado, not even Ben Davidson. That doesn't mean the Browns, with all their penalties, can get that title someday. It just means they've got to decide what kind of team they want to be. Now, if you want to compare Baker Mayfield to the original swashbuckler, that would be Ken the Snake Stabler, you might be onto something. But first, you got to win some games and some championships. Bud Shaw is here. More Sports, and Les Levine is on the air. Stop banging the desk.
I can't help it. That music's infectious.
From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine, into our 24th consecutive year, seen exclusively on Cleveland.com. Bud Shaw from WKYC.com is here. How are you, Bud?
Good, Les. We haven't talked since last
the incident.
Thursday night.
So, you got a few minutes to talk about it now?
Yeah, I got more than a few minutes. I don't know if anyone who follows me on Twitter, not that I'm begging you to do so, but I've been on most of the day still, 6 days later with people, 5 days later, talking about everybody wants their pound of flesh. They want Mason Rudolph to get suspended.
And that'll help the Browns because?
Well, that's the part of the question that I can never actually get to.
Pittsburgh fans called me knowing that the Browns are playing the Steelers in a second game, one more game, then they play them. And they're asking the commissioner to suspend him for 4 games so they don't have to watch him play.
Well, listen, he had one of his worst games, obviously 4 interceptions in that game. He's looked better against some other teams. But if he goes into, if they go into Pittsburgh and the Steelers don't have Smith-Schuster, still don't have the number 1 running back, James Conner, that is not going to be a win for Pittsburgh. I don't care how well Mason Rudolph plays.
How bad do you expect it to be now that I believe this incident has brought the Pittsburgh-Cleveland rivalry back to what it might have been back in the old days? Maybe not. I don't know. But what do you expect there?
It's going to be a dicey thing for head coaches to deal with, I think, Les, because they're, these refs obviously are human. They know what happened. Yeah. They're going to be watching this thing really closely. And I have no doubt that the Browns came out in that game on Thursday wanting to be the tougher, more physical team. And
well, that doesn't mean be a dirty team.
But in the case of the Browns during that game, I think it became that. And I'm talking about the helmet
shot. That was terrible.
So I think that's going to be Freddie's next challenge. Is he got them their emotions to show up in this rivalry, this division game, and now he's going to have to somehow temper it without losing the performance.
Jim Ingram was here last night, and I said that I'm not fond of Freddie Kitchens as head coach of this football team, but I really felt sorry for him. That was his signature game, a signature win. I had forgotten or didn't realize that Cleveland had not beaten Baltimore and Pittsburgh in the same year. That's one thing he can put on his resume. But I felt sorry for the guy.
Well, I thought that I had even started writing a column during that game saying that we need to give this guy his credit when it's due. And I thought the way he managed the game, the way he's gotten Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb to play well together without sacrificing the talents of either guy, I thought was, exemplary. So I was ready to say that. But when it came back down to it, to me, he had said that, the smartest, toughest team would win. And I don't think the smartest, toughest team won. I think they won despite themselves again in the way they handled it. They gave him 58 yards on one 81-yard drive, the only scoring drive by Pittsburgh. They gave it to him in penalties.
So what is it with the Cleveland Browns?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I've said
nobody
this.
condones what happened.
No, I've said this a few times. Does Freddie Kitchens have to own the pattern of personal fouls and sloppy play and lack of discipline over the course of the season, I would say yes, he's the head coach.
Except,
Does he have to own this one aberrant
No.
act by Myles Garrett? I would say no, he
no,
doesn't.
but what you just said before that is that the players know better, but are they trying to get away? Is it almost like it's a substitute teacher? They haven't bought into Freddie yet, and they're still testing him? I know when Mangini was here, in a scrimmage or practice, a guy would jump offside. He doesn't even waste a breath. He's running to the hill already.
Yeah, and Freddie reinstituted some of that stuff going into the Buffalo week, and I think he's gotten some better results. I just think that overall, you know, if you're not, I'm not saying he's encouraging that kind of behavior, but he's not discouraging it enough that it's stopped. And
isn't it somewhat strange that when last year, whoever was going to be the head coach of the team, you had one guy with Bountygate, and now you have another guy that at least outsiders will look at as someone who encourages it.
Yeah, and I don't know how, like I said, I don't know how fair it is. You know, people like to point out that they've had the most players ejected of any team
Right.
now. The 3 of those came in one game.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, and the last one had been in the opener, so we're talking 9-10 weeks apart. So I don't know.
Do you give him any credit for cutting down on penalties?
Yeah,
as
I
the
mean,
year
he
has
had
gone
done
on?
that. He had done that for a couple weeks,
Yeah.
and you know, they had done that, and that was, you know, something that needed to be said and done, and they benefited from it. So I think you have to wait until the end of the season to look at his first year in total. He's going to clearly win some games here at the end. Will he win enough games to have them challenging for the playoffs? I think he might have to show people that he's the guy that should be kept next year.
Did Roger Goodell rush to judgment on this? Could he have waited a day or two to see what would fly?
On the Garrett suspension?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think I walked out of there that night saying, I've never seen a guy do this.
No, none of us have.
And I was, you know, I don't want to say appalled. I'm just saying I felt like it was a really dangerous thing to do when I saw it happening in real time. So I understand why they made the decision they did. I don't understand the indefinite part of it, but
I
we'll
can't
see what happens in
remember-
appeal.
I can't tell you how many games I've seen, but I don't remember a game where I walked out or stopped watching on TV where I said, this doesn't feel like a win.
Yeah, and you know, the players obviously said the same thing. Baker Mayfield and I think later Joel Bitonio said the same thing. So I know there are fans now. They haven't given a couple days to think about it. They believe the suspension was too heavy for Garrett, that Rudolph should have gotten something, and that the players, if they had had a chance to sit back and look at it, may not have been as damning as they were. I disagree with that part. I think the players know that what happened out there would put their health at risk if it happened to them, and certainly if this situation was turned around.
Right.
And that was Baker Mayfield. There wouldn't be anybody saying that he should be suspended for what happened.
All right, we'll get to your opening comment in a minute. I want to mention that tomorrow, when Dennis Maniloff is here, we're going to do the show earlier. We're going to do it from 3 to 4 tomorrow. So if you want to call in, that's when you do it. What you will see from 6 until 7 will be the beginning of the tape shows. But tomorrow only, we will be broadcasting live from 3 to 4 with Dennis Maniloff. So if you're sending in how come Quickie's late, can't do that. You got to do them earlier. All right, now that gave you enough time to vamp a little bit. Get ready for an opening comment.
This is total ad lib, so let me see what I can come up with. 10 games down for the Browns means 6 to go, and the theme so far this season, in my mind, is squandered talent. The latest instance, of course, is losing Myles Garrett to a suspension. So now the Browns might need to win out, minus their best defensive player. Before all that happened last Thursday, the Browns waived Antonio Callaway. A week or two before that, they parted ways with starting safety Jermaine Whitehead over his conduct. Throw in Baker Mayfield's regression over the first half of the season and Odell Beckham Jr.'s lack of production, there's a clear pattern of getting a little out of a lot. Lost in the shuffle last week was Mayfield telling Aaron Andrews that the Browns made the mistake of thinking this season would be easy. The Browns keep saying the season's goals are still in front of them, and they are. Well, now we'll see if they can get out of their own way and reach the playoffs.
So we ask about Shaw. Do you think they can?
No, I don't think they can. I
Because
think
there's a loss or two in the way?
I think their easiest path is to catch the Baltimore Ravens for
Really?
the division title, and I don't think that's going to happen. And now I think they're behind the 8 ball with a lot of teams in the AFC that are going to be winning games.
Well, you can take care of Pittsburgh by yourself with a win.
Yeah, sure. I'm not counting
Pittsburgh.
I think Pittsburgh's
they're done.
a paper lion. I think they won a couple of 5 out of 6 somehow. With guys like Schuster and James Conner playing, I don't think they can do it without them.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at realleslavine@gmail.com. Did you know that there are over 238,000 winners in the Ohio Scratch-Offs every day? With that amount of winning, you could stop by your local retailer, try your luck on any of the popular holiday-themed scratch-offs from the Ohio Lottery. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine. New content is posted each and every day. We had a Facebook question of the day, which got a lot of response. We'll get to that a little bit later. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on Cleveland.com with Bud Shaw.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
This segment of More Sports and Les Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct, northeastfactorydirect.com, with 3 great locations in Northeast Ohio. Bud Shaw with us. Bud, we had a Facebook question, and the question obvious, did the NFL get it right with the suspensions from the Browns-Steelers game the other night? So let's take a look and see what people had to say. Gerard Morelli, not with the indefinite part, suspend him for the rest of the season and then start anew next year for Garrett. And Rudolph doesn't even get 1 game off. That's ridiculous. Chris Art says, I'm fine with Miles getting suspended for the rest of the season, but that should be it. Mason deserved at least 1 or 2 game suspension for instigating it. Either way, from here on out, the NFL has to stay consistent with the suspensions in these matters. In 2013, Antonio Smith was only suspended 5 games for a similar situation. He was the instigator. I don't agree with the indefinite part. Ted Moon says it's hard to determine truly. However, I agree with Mr. Goodell that this had to be dealt with quickly and firmly so that the players and clubs know this type of behavior is unacceptable. If it wasn't our team, I would think that this is a good move. Delete my emotion, and yes, the NFL got it right. Larry Pantages says Browns fans should feel lucky it wasn't worse. Alex Karras and Paul Hornung were thrown out for a year for gambling, which now is the NFL is in the awkward position of embracing it with a big hug. As Chuck Daly used to say, this is America, you gotta love it. Aaron Wood, no, they didn't get it right. Miles and Larry and Pouncey got in trouble for their actions when Mason should have had, it would only be fair if Mason got it too. Daniel Chick, Rudolph should have gotten suspended.
All right. This is the source of much of my conversation with people on Twitter today, because I disagree with that. In my mind, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, everything that happened up to the point of him swinging a helmet at an unprotected head was, I think, subject to fines, not suspensions.
Even yanking the helmet off?
I wouldn't have suspended.
Okay.
I wouldn't have suspended Garrett for that up until that point. If he takes that helmet and throws it in the end zone, I think we have a situation where guys are getting fined for fighting.
Right.
So the fact that he went way over the top by hitting Mason Rudolph on the head doesn't make the instigating part, if that's what you believe he did,
Right.
so a suspendable offense. To me, it became suspendable when he did that, and then the guys that followed did what they did.
Well, let's also say that if he doesn't hit him with that particular part of the helmet, you may have a different story. You may have a dead man out there, and and if not that, you may have the legal people take over. Wouldn't be judged by.
I think that's fair.
What Goodell would say.
And I don't know. I guess it's too much to ask people. We had the one honest man, and I can't remember his name in the response, who said, taking my Browns loyalty out of it, he thinks they got it right. And
Yeah,
I
that's
think
Ted Moon.
I think Ted was right. I would agree with Ted on that. I think, in general, they got it right. And I would, if the roles were completely reversed, I would be saying the same thing, that Baker Mayfield, I don't care if you think he instigated it, he didn't go to the lengths and the extreme that Myles Garrett did. That's why Myles Garrett's suspended. Pouncey, we know why he's suspended. He kicked a man in the head. And Ogunjobi got a game because he blindsided a guy and knocked him down, ran into a fight and did it. So I think they're all defensible suspensions.
tell you-
Rudolph be fined? Yeah, and I can hear people saying now, oh, these fines don't matter. These guys don't
No,
care
they
about
matter.
fines.
They matter.
That's all.
All right, so it all happened. What I think is interesting, and it goes back to what Ted said in his email or his Facebook response, and that is that you have a situation where it's a Browns player involved, and almost everybody on this show, on radio that I've listened to, there may be one or two knuckleheads that didn't agree, but for the most part, everybody agrees what Myles Garrett did was totally wrong. Other stuff is debatable.
Yeah, listen, I think, and to get to the part of the Facebook response about the indefinite suspension, I'll admit I initially thought it was going to be like a 6 or 8 game suspension, something like that. I think they made it indefinite because of the point in the season that it happened.
Right.
And also because they want to see some contrition, and they didn't have the immediate proof of that. I believe that
Well,
Myles
they got
Garrett.
it. You got it right after the game.
No, but they got him saying something into a microphone, right?
Right.
But as far as meeting with him and
Oh.
engaging,
Don't
whether,
you think
I
Goodell
do
is-
believe he's contrite on this.
I do too, but don't you think that Goodell? Well, first of all, this is the same guy who got punched by a fan and then just looked up the license plate. But do you think Goodell opened himself up to that he would have to lower the suspension after that he went hot and heavy after him, and maybe some things will come out that the indefinite part may come out of it?
I don't know. I think they did it so that on appeal, and
Some wiggle room.
he'll make a case for
Yeah.
himself on appeal that he's not this kind of player. And I think because of that, they'll say, we'll take the indefinite part off. You're welcome to come back in the home opener or the season opener
Right.
of 2020.
And we'll make sure with our referees that the Browns will not make the playoffs.
Well, the Browns may take care of that themselves, playing 6 more games without Myles Garrett.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations, east, west, and south. Of course, you've got the original one that's located at West 140th Street in Cleveland, the old B&B appliance store, Lakeland Boulevard, that's in Euclid. And now the new one, Freeway Drive in Macedonia. Check out everything they have at northeastfactorydirect.com. No gimmicks, no deceiving sales. Just come in and you'll find out why you're able to save so much money. Alex has these 3 big warehouses, and he pays about 1/10 the rent that the big boys do. And he passes the savings directly on to you. So if you want some nice big-ticket items to improve your home and you want to pay half price or less, do what most people do. They go to Northeast Factory Direct. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Post time 6 p.m. Then you've got a 6:40 on Saturday and Sunday. And you got a chance with the contest to win $500 in cash. That's at Northfield Park, where it's free admission, free parking every day. We'll come on back in a moment. More sports and Les Levine with Bud Shaw continues exclusively on Cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
There was moisture in the basement. It ruined the carpeting. The smell was terrible. We didn't feel safe in our own basement, and that's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of November and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
National Holidays expert Mary here with a list of holidays you won't want to miss. Get your Ohio Lottery Merry Million scratch-offs for National Donut Day, National Have a Party with Your Bear Day, Pickle Day, National Unique Talent Day, Take a Hike Day, and America's favorite, National Jukebox Day. Every day is a reason to celebrate. Grab a Merry Millions and other Ohio Lottery holiday scratch-offs today.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
All right, here you go. How come, Bud, maybe you can come up with this. How come Superman does not move when somebody shoots a gun at him, but he does move when somebody throws a shoe at him?
I have noticed that.
It is long.
It is.
I
It's a little longer.
A little longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, maybe.
If I was Mr. Gullible or somebody else who sends quickies in, what would you have given that particular quickie?
I would have had to mark it down a couple of this for the length. Yeah, but I would still give it a 9.2.
Oh, excellent. Bud Shaw with us tomorrow at the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, and again we're going to do that show from 3 until 4. You'll be able to see that live, and then of course you can watch the replay throughout the rest of the day and night. But we'll be doing it live from 3 until 4 tomorrow. It's magic, to be honest with you. I can't explain it.
Being on with Dennis?
Well, yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way. Just the fact that we can do it from 3 to 4 and have it air at 6
He is
and
very
3.
He is very good. So
yeah,
that magic would also fit that description of Dennis on the air.
No question about it. 216-575-0403 is the number. This portion of More Sports and Les Levine brought to you by Tri-C. All right, Bud, you got to find out. The Browns have a game to play.
Really?
And by the way, they won a game the other day. Are you aware of that?
I am aware of that, and I was interested this week to see how quickly they put an end to the questions about Garrett and the Steelers and all that stuff. Because they haven't been real good at moving on to the next thing, you know? I mean, like, here's an example.
You got Miami coming in. Big crowd will be there. Weather should be terrific for football. I think the crowd will get them pumped up.
Well, I think so too. But here's the thing about this team that I find, I don't want to say alarming, but I think it's indicative of them losing focus at times. That game ends, right, with all the stuff that happened in that game Thursday night. They have won their 2 in a row. And what Odell Beckham story is out there? That the NFL has been drug testing him twice a week. Who cares? Why would anybody in Cleveland care about that? That's between him and the league. And this stuff comes out because he is the center of attention. Right. He wants to be the center of attention. Then he wants to go, well, because it's me, it's a big deal. Well, no, it's a big deal because you're the one that brought it to people's attention.
We must assume he's clean.
I guess. I mean, if he was, that's all anybody in Cleveland should care about, right? Is he eligible for games? I don't know why the NFL's doing it. But why do we feel I'm wound up now, can you tell?
Can see.
In a lot of big markets, the fan base would be saying, this trade has been terrible for our team.
Okay.
What is wrong with this guy? But in this market, the fans and media are like, well, why doesn't the league stop picking on Odell about dress code stuff, and now this drug testing thing. Well, who cares about that? Win some games.
Knowing what you know now, would you do that trade again?
I probably would. How about that?
No, I
because
think we
I think
would.
he's a tremendous talent, and I just don't like what comes with that talent sometimes.
Okay,
and I'm not saying he's been a terrible teammate, but you just have to get used to the fact that it's not going to be, a guy who just goes out there and plays his position like Nick Chubb does.
Okay, so
which I wish a lot of more guys would do.
With 6 games left, right? Is that what it is?
6 more to go.
6 more to go. Doesn't this team have to revert itself and become a running ball club now that you have Hunt and Chubb, and you don't have the production from the wide receivers?
Well, I thought that last week after the Buffalo game, I thought the Buffalo game was a bit of a revelation to the Browns that not only could they use these guys together effectively, but that Hunt was ready and ready for more probably. So I think that's the clearest path for them is to do that. Now, that could open up things for both Landry and Beckham at times, right?
I would think if they got to come in and pinch the corners.
I still see too many guys worried about their, or talking about it at least, their individual, goals of becoming the defensive player of the year in Garrett's case and leading the league in sacks. And Antonio Callaway, before he got let go, was going to be a 1,000-yard receiver. Just go out and do it. And then people won't. You don't have to tell anybody
How
about
about Beckham? He gets the big play early and gets tackled at the goal line, and he thinks he's got a touchdown, and then they replay it, and they find out he was a half a yard or a yard short. I sense that he said doesn't care that they're going to go get the touchdown in the next 3 downs. I sense that he was more worried about having it taken away from him.
I don't know about that part, but I know that one of the first things he did was turn around to Mike Tomlin and bring up something that happened 6 months ago in an interview by going like this, like, oh, you don't really care about them signing me? We'll take that. And you're like, why is that even on his radar? Why?
No, go score a couple of touchdowns and let them do the talking.
Like, that's what every time I look at these guys this year, I'm just like, and it goes to Baker Mayfield, it goes to Landry at times. Landry gets the taunting penalty that forces a 48-yard PAT attempt, and when it misses, he's asked after the game, and he says, I would do the exact same thing. Really? Why?
Well,
why would you do the exact same thing?
Doesn't Freddie have to come in and put a stop to that?
At some point he does. I mean, I think he erred on the side of, I want my players to be themselves, and as long as it doesn't hurt our team. Well, I think you could make the argument in some cases this year that it has hurt the team.
Yeah, because a field goal would have beaten them or at least tied them instead of having the cushion of a 4-point lead.
Listen, I think they're on the right path, and the schedule will allow them to run off a bunch of wins in a row, or it should. But, I mean, we're not talking – Baker Mayfield was honest enough about it last week, Les, to say we're not even close to being the offensive team we can be.
I can agree. I would
and
agree
he's
with
right.
that.
I mean, listen, if not for – and you can't play the if-not thing, but they needed a late drive to beat Buffalo at home.
Right.
They were locked in a 14-7 game that Pittsburgh had no right being in until Mayfield throws that ball into the middle of the end zone at the height of a defensive back who just happens not to be turning around and looking. So, I mean, he's been better. He's going to have to still be better yet if they're going to beat Baltimore, if they're going to go into Pittsburgh and win, if they're going to go to Arizona and win.
All right, so I think what you're saying is that they may lose one of those games, and if they finish the rest with wins, they got a 9-7 record. If I told you forget how they got to that point. If I told you back in early September they're going to be 9-7, I think most of us would have been. I think I said 10-6, but most of us would have accepted 9-7.
Yeah, I picked 10-6, so I guess I'd be a hypocrite if I said 9-7 would be totally, inadmissible in my mind. But the way it's happened, the lack of focus I've seen, the lack of discipline I've seen, that makes me feel like they could have been so much more than that.
But that's what happens to 9-7 teams.
True.
They do things that make them 9-7 or 7-9.
That's true.
There's almost no difference on the field in games between a 9-7 team and a 7 or 9 team.
Yeah, that's probably a fair conclusion.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Don't forget, tomorrow we're doing the show from 3 to 4, so if you want to get in, set your clocks, your alarm clocks a little bit earlier. for tomorrow. Tri-C, you can explore your interests and find a program that puts you on the path to a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu to find out more information. We'll come back in a moment. We're going to check and see who can fill in for Myles Garrett. I don't know that anybody on the Browns roster can do that, but we'll take a look at them. Bud Shaw is with us. More sports and Les Levine continues in a moment exclusively on Cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
This portion of More Sports and Les Levine brought to you by our Northeast Factory Direct. November 19th, remember this, Bud? 1996, Albert Bell signs with the White Sox for a then record $55 million. First player to surpass the $10 million mark per year. How about that?
I do remember that. How about $55 million now? That's almost what
Chump change.
Francisco Lindor is going to make in a single year.
What else do we have? A letter from Lee.
Yeah,
Lee says...
I was double checking this.
You think you got it?
I think I got it.
All right, Lee says, hey Les, I know you're young enough to remember the Marichal Roseboro incident. I do remember it very well. If memory serves me correct, Marichal got an 8-game suspension. Is that, Bud, you looked it up. What happened?
Yeah.
Now, just for people who don't know, Johnny Roseboro was the catcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Marichal, one of the great Hall of Fame pitcher, one of the great pitchers of all time, pitching for the San Francisco Giants. And Marichal was batting. There was a bunt attempt, and next thing you know, the bat is flying towards Roseboro.
Yeah, Marichal was suspended 8 games, which amounted to 10 because there were a couple of doubleheaders involved. So I guess there was 8 days.
I mean, you couldn't bring him in for the 9th game
apparently
if it was,
not.
if
I
it
don't
was
know.
over?
I'm just looking at what and Roseboro, who took something like 14 stitches in that incident, was suspended for 2 games.
I wonder if he decided to grow a beard when he got his stitches.
Well, not everybody.
I'm going to tell that story one of these days. I'm just not ready to.
Yeah.
Just not ready to tell it. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us. He'll be grading quickies. There's one quickie in here. I have no idea what he's talking about.
It looks like a big paragraph, though. So already
well, there's 4 different ones in it.
All right.
So we'll treat it as 4. But this one, I think I'll show it to you in advance. And
Okay.
You tell me.
All right.
You tell me if we should go with it.
Maybe the genius is
Maybe-
so subtle.
Yeah. First of all, do you get it? Don't read it yet. We'll do it next segment. You're with me on that, right? Do you think he left out a word? Do you think he left out a comma? Do you think he...
I think he left out a How Come Quickie.
He came up with a whole new invention. What do we call these, Dave? John, what do we call these? All right, let's take a look at what the Browns have, and they're going to throw at the Miami Dolphins this week. Chris Smith, he of course made some news when his girlfriend tragically was killed in that automobile accident. Chris Smith, 6'1", 266, 2014 fifth-round pick out of Arkansas. Started 2 games for the Browns last year, so that's one guy they've got. Then they've got Chad Thomas, who looks like a guy who really can play the game if they give him enough time, and I think this will give him enough time. He was a third-round pick out of Miami, started a couple of games this year, and had 3 sacks during that time. He's 6'5" and 278. And then Olivier Vernon, who was a free agent signing, and he was in 2012. He was a third-round pick out of Miami, and made the 2016 All-Pro team and the 2018 All-Pro team. 3 sacks on the season. He was injured in the Denver game. I'm guessing he will not get the Pro Bowl nod unless everybody turns it down this year.
You know, the thing that jumps out at me, Les, is that I think overall their defensive line has been a little disappointing this year. And that was with Garrett playing at a really high level.
Right.
I think Vernon was playing pretty well when he got hurt, but I saw that as a defensive line that would be more like the San Francisco 49ers line that would just dominate games, and it hasn't.
You know, there's only one person to talk to in a time like this.
Let me guess. Devin from Concord?
Good, lucky guess. Devin in Concord. Hey,
that?
Devin.
Hey, guys. How we doing today?
What's doing well. How about you?
I tell you, the beard looks good, buddy.
Well, we haven't put it up for bidding here yet, but we're asking keep it or lose it, and so far keeping it is
can't
winning.
grow beards, you know.
Oh, this is easy. I bought it at the store, and
You know,
when I get my haircut,
look,
when I get my haircut, I
had
just
a
take it
friend-
off and take it into the shop.
Yeah, I had a friend who used to try to grow a beard. I used to call him Patchy. You know what I mean? You ever see those guys that they try to do, they just can't do it.
You know, you say you try to grow a beard. I just lay there and it happens. I don't know.
Right. Hey, so Bud, are you taking over Hoynes's job? You kind of ran there.
I'm a little,
bit.
I'm a little worked up, and I sense that you might disagree with me on this whole Garrett thing.
Oh, come on. How could you disagree?
Well, because I think Rudolph shouldn't be suspended, but everybody else does.
We've all know the narrative, you know. Look, he lost his mind, and he can't do that in the league. You know, he should be suspended for the year. Bring him back next year. You know, the whole deal. It's over with. You just got to move on now.
And by the way, if you're a Browns fan, if you get the other guy suspended, it doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
It's not like Ben's going to walk in off the sideline or something, you know.
Right.
But still, you'd want to face Rudolph.
I think they should slap 2 games on Roethlisberger next year. Because he would have done something wrong.
True?
Yeah.
Hey, but what do you think would happen if, like, Nick Chubb was sweeping around and Minkah Fitzpatrick came running up and he just went and kicked him in the face mask?
Is the face mask on at the time?
What do you think would happen to Chubb?
What would happen to Chubb? Nothing.
Yeah, right. Because remember when Antonio Brown did that to our punter a few years back?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I think, Devin, I think a lot of people are so bothered by how often and how completely the Steelers have bullied the Browns over the years, with James Harrison, with him doing that to Spencer Lanning. I think that they felt like this is the first time the Browns stood up for themselves, and
since Joe Turkey Jones.
Yeah, I mean, in a way. So I think they're excusing it for that reason.
Since the Marty years, when Marty used to beat him all the time.
By the way, I don't think Turkey Jones got suspended for that.
We'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I wasn't here when that happened.
You don't remember? You've never seen tape of
Well, I've
Joe
seen
Turkey
tape of
Jones?
it, but I wasn't here when it happened.
I don't think there was a suspension or even an ejection. Huh.
No, I don't. I think he was ejected. I don't think he was suspended, though.
All right, so that's lasted since 1976. So somebody asked me how long it'll be before people forget Myles Garrett. The answer is never. If you're still remembering Joe Turkey Jones, you're going to remember this forever.
Right.
And by the way, from a rivalry standpoint, did this ignite it? Is it back?
Oh yeah, I mean, don't you think it kind of started the whole thing all over again? I
At least
have
for
one
next
crazy
week.
Friend, one crazy friend, right? You know, he was at the game, you know, and he's hammered, right? And he calls me up. He goes, the only thing better is if it would have been Big Ben.
I'm sure he's not alone in that sentiment.
Hey, he's not wrong.
Dude, it's what?
He might have been drunk, but he wasn't wrong.
No, I know, right. Hey, so, and Hoynes, I mean, Bud, going back to your Odell thing.
Yeah.
You know, you remember the story of the scorpion and the frog? You ever heard that story?
No, I don't know this one.
So the scorpion goes up to the frog and says, hey, I need to cross this river. You know, can I hop on your back and cross the river, right? And the frog goes, no way, you're going to sting me and I'm going to die. And the scorpion goes, no, then I'm going to drown, so we'll both die. And he goes, okay. So he jumps on his back, and they're halfway across, and the scorpion stings him, and they go down. And the frog goes, what are you doing? He goes, hey, I am what I am, right? So basically, if you look at it, you know, it's like T.O. and Moss, you know, Randy Moss, Odell, Antonio Brown. That's how these guys are. Like, they're not Barry Sanders, and they're not Nick Chubb.
Yeah, it's a good point.
That's just what they are.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to be.
And they don't change.
That's how they are.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And, like, I mean, and I'll be honest with you, like, no one has ever been taken off the field for right during the middle of a third down for a uniform issue.
Right.
Like he was against the Jets on Monday night. Now, that was uncalled for. And then just, it wasn't last week, wasn't someone wearing some special shoe and they let him wear it the whole game?
I'm going to let you Odell defenders deal with that.
No, and listen, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying that he's never going to change. That's what he is. And, you know, I've never seen anyone taken off during the middle of a game for during the middle
Well,
of
I thought that they were told. I thought they were told during the first half that they had to change. No.
I don't know.
It was the first quarter when we were in the red zone on Monday night against the Jets.
Well,
when
at
he
least
had the visor.
Oh, the visor. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
at least that time they had an excuse for not scoring in the red zone, unlike all the other times.
Right. Hey, and then lost in this whole Steelers thing is, first of all, Baker's been stacking some games together, right? He went 3-3 in the red zone, but Freddie Kitchens still cannot clock manage. I mean, literally, we stop him on fourth down. There's 6 minutes to go, and stop him on fourth down, and he pass. It took 12 seconds off the clock to the point where he had to call a timeout. Then
better yet, you're heading to the end of the third quarter. You got 3 seconds on the clock, and they have no interest in running the clock out, and he calls a timeout. What is that all about? Yeah. You know, let me just tell any aspiring Cleveland Browns coach who's out there. Timeouts are like gold. Don't waste them.
Yeah.
Right. I remember Belichick said you would rather have less time and more timeouts than more time and less timeouts.
Absolutely.
You know?
Hence the name More Sports and Less Levine.
Hey, did you hear your boy Lombardi?
What about him?
He was ripping on the Browns. He called Freddie Kitchens. What did he call him? Freddie Bathrooms or something?
What? That's
not
even
did you
funny.
Hear that?
No.
You know, all these guys who got fired by the Browns are coming out of the woodworks. You know, Haley came out the other day.
He was ripping. Yeah. He was ripping the Haslams. He was ripping everybody.
Lombardi
that guy's
was?
a joke.
Lombardi was?
Lombardi. Yeah, Lombardi. He was on your boy Kornheiser's show.
You know, I like how you
our boy?
I like how you bestow your boy status on some of these.
Hey, if they're bad, they're your boy. If they're good, they're
your
my
boy.
Come on,
Yeah, I hope you're happy with your boy, Jermaine Whitehead.
All right, what are we marking you down for with the beard? What are we marking you down? Keep it or lose it? The beard.
It looks good. You and Clooney.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He should be so lucky.
Rosemary Clooney.
Rosemary Clooney.
Goodbye.
Exactly.
Goodbye.
All right, guys. Later.
Do you remember her?
Just the name.
Just the name.
Yeah. I'm sure she didn't have much facial hair.
I think she was from Cincinnati, I believe. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. What do they have at Northeast Factory Direct? Well, they've got 3 big bare-bone warehouses filled with some of the same stuff you're going to find at a number of stores, with one significant difference. At Northeast Factory Direct, these items are priced at half the regular price. The bottom line is nobody is going to touch their everyday savings or their quality. east, west, as well as south, West 140th Street in Cleveland, B&B Appliance Building in Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, and Freeway Drive in Macedonia. Or check out everything first at northeastfactorydirect.com. Sokolowski's University Inn, you can check them out any Monday through Friday for lunch, 11 to 3 each and every day. Then they've got Saturday and Sunday, or Friday. What's the matter with me? I've only been talking about them for 27 years now. Friday and Saturday nights for dinner, starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The winner of the James Beard Foundation Award, nothing better than that. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. We'll come back in a moment. Bud Shaw with us. More sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on Cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of November and save up to half off. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then, watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
Birthdays for today. Roy Campanella, the great catcher from the Brooklyn Dodgers. Bob Boone, that's Aaron Boone's grandfather, right? Mm-hmm. Ryan Howard, Alex Mack, former Browns player, Joey Gallo, a Buckeye, all born on the 19th of November. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us.
Correction.
Yep.
Bob Boone would be Aaron Boone's father.
Ray Boone, who played for the Indians, is the grandfather.
Yep.
Absolutely right. Not too many fathers
No.
and grandsons played from the same family. You know, this has to be your old stomping grounds, Shippensburg, PA?
And when I went to highly acclaimed Harvard of the Central Pennsylvania.
Which is what? Pennsylvania and
Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
The Harvard of the what?
Yeah, the Harvard of Central PA. Yeah, we played Slippery Rock, Shippensburg, Edinburgh.
Any wins on your...
We played California, PA, by the way. There's a California, PA.
Who made up these maps?
I have no idea.
So
somebody gerrymandered
any
it.
wins for you in Shippensburg?
I never, I wasn't good enough to. I got cut.
Good enough to go to Shippensburg?
I got
Michael's
cut.
good enough. Hello, Michael. How are you?
What's up, guys? Actually, I lived in Shippensville near Clarion, Pennsylvania, which is in that same conference.
Gotcha.
And by the way, is it Clarion is the big wrestling area, right?
Let's go back to talking about Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah.
After that play, and on national TV, you saw both Mike Tomlin and Freddie Kitchens in the middle of the field. Freddie Kitchens looking with deer in the headlights. What was Mike Tomlin saying to him? Does anybody know? There's leadership. Freddie Kitchens, again, standing there, deer in the headlights. Please answer me that question.
Well, I can tell you what I think he said. I'll tell you what I think Tomlin said to Freddie. They named you head coach?
I don't know what they were talking about, to answer your question. He was asked about that afterwards, and he said that they were just trying to diffuse the situation. So I don't know exactly what was exchanged there.
All right, this just in from our expanded news and sports desk. In 1976, hold on one second. In 1976, when Joe Turkey Jones did the heave-ho on Terry Bradshaw, he was given a 15-yard penalty, backed him up to the goal line, or no, got him out of the goal line situation, and he was fined $3,000.
So he wasn't even ejected?
Apparently not, according to our ever-expanding news and sports desk.
Well, I think he would be ejected and probably suspended if he did this similar thing today.
Although people didn't like Bradshaw, it might have been okay with. No, I'm just kidding. Didn't mean it.
So not the biggest Freddie fan, eh?
Well, it seems like every week, I listen to you guys quite often, but I also have to listen to a lot of national, sports shows.
Yeah.
And every week there's an issue other than the play on the game.
Yeah, you're right.
Every week there's no control. And it's just, I can't take it no more.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard to listen to local Pittsburgh stations or national stations.
Well, it's low-hanging fruit right now for the national guys to take on the Browns, right? They fell out of love quickly.
You would think that there's lofty goals, but they should have been lofty.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and I think. I think the Kitchens, that's why I said I think we really have to wait and look at the end of the year, because I think they will finish on an upswing, but I wonder if some of the mistakes he's made and some of the lack of discipline his team has shown, whether that's going to save him.
That's
now,
why
clearly, if he makes the playoffs, they're not going to get rid of a coach who makes the playoffs.
Yeah, but that's not why
I know, but I'm just saying, short of that, I think they're going to look really critically at this season.
That's why you don't just look at the record.
Yeah, you have to answer the question: is he the guy you want leading this team for the next 5 years? And be interesting to see what Dorsey does, since he's the one that hired him. Is he going to admit a mistake that soon?
All right, we got to go. Michael, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Don't be a stranger. Call us often, please. 216-575-0403. Paul in Findlay wants to know if we recall the quarterbacks drafted ahead of Jackson. Do you think most of those teams, including Cleveland, wish they had taken him? I would say Cleveland is fine with who they've got. I don't think they wanted to change their offense around Jackson. But the other guys, who did you have? You had Rosen, you had Darnold,
Baker,
and
Baker. You just named
you had
Baker.
5 of them.
There's probably one that I'm forgetting right now. Well, Jackson was taken with somebody moved up to 10 or 12, right?
Yeah.
Baltimore obviously moved up to 10 or 12. I don't know, Les. I think if you redrafted these guys right now, you'd have and asked media from all over the country to say who they would pick first. I think Baker Mayfield would not be the pick.
Well,
I think Jackson would be clearly the pick.
Yeah, but not at the end of even 1 year would that have been correct?
No. I think a lot of people had, what kind of an offense are you going to run? Do you have to run with him?
Yeah.
But I think he's answered some questions. That, Tony Grossi and I are friends, and we talked the other day. After the second pass in that Baltimore game, Tony gets on Twitter and he says, same old inaccurate Lamar Jackson. and then Grossi gets killed on Twitter, which he usually does. Because Lamar Jackson then hits 15 of his next 15 passes. Right. So I think he's clearly improved in that category, and he's just so gifted athletically, and he seems really smart about protecting himself.
You think over the years he's going to slow it down, but you never know. I'll tell you what, John Harbaugh is a terrific coach.
The idea that he wouldn't improve his accuracy or his throwing was kind of silly to say he's a finished product at age 22 or whatever.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll check out some How Come Quickies. We'll vote on them when we get back. Northfield Park, your home for live and simulcast racing. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. is the post time. Saturday and Sunday at 6:40. And they open early every day for simulcast action from all over the world. Northfield Park, always free admission, always free parking at Northfield Park. Back in a moment with less history, less Levine history, and more How Come Quickies, exclusively on Cleveland.com.
I don't have any clear...
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of November and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
This stayed in Les Levine history. I'm proud of this one. Not the way we look.
That's not a quickie.
So we find out that one of our guys who lived in the neighborhood bemoaned the fact that in the 60s he was never invited to play at Chavez Levine. So in a Field of Dream Moments, plans are now being made, Bud, for a wiffle ball game to be played at one of the brothers' homes to include any neighborhood kid from South Euclid who can still catch and throw, but maybe not run.
I want to see that one.
You will. if I set the broadcast rights to the right spot. All right, time for some. I want to remind you, tomorrow we're doing the show from 3 to 4 live, and you'll of course see it at 6 to 7 as usual. But 3 to 4 is when we do it. So if you want to be a part of the show, that's when you can catch us. All right, Cleveland Bill. How come the problem is immediate and present when one has broken the remote? First of all, do you get it? It's a problem, clear and present. Immediate and present. Cleveland Bill goes on to say, how come whenever the orchestra triangle player practiced, 20 hungry ranch hands always showed up?
All right, now, I've seen a lot of Westerns in my day, and I like that one. I'm giving it an 8.0. I'm giving the 2.
You want to explain it? You're talking about the triangle?
Yeah, whenever they called the guys in from who were mending fences, they would use the triangle to get their attention. So
that's what they did. They mended fences?
Mended fences.
It's interesting. That's a job that never
So the
ends.
2 of them I'm giving together. Those were both by the same guy?
Yeah, Cleveland Bill.
So he gets an 8.0.
Okay, so Mitch from Kent, he's giving 4 of these. One good thing about him.
4?
Well, the 4 of them like that, which means they have to be quick. It didn't take up that much room. Hey, Les, it's Mitch from Mitch Hoffman in Kent. It's against my better judgment, but I got an earful of corny quickies. How come Art Modell and Robert Ursay weren't charged with moving violations?
Okay.
Is this a term I'm allowed to use?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
How come when I cornered the skunk, he gave me the stink eye?
Okay.
You sure I can use that word?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going on record
Right
as
now,
I'm not
I'm very
totally
impressed
sure.
with the brevity.
How come when the interior designer retired, it was his final curtain?
Okay. And is there one more?
Yeah. How come at day's end, the farmer's hay bale was his last straw?
Huh?
Here, you have it. You
How
figure it
come
out.
at day's end,
give me a report in the morning.
the farmer's hay bale was his last straw? You know what?
You get it now?
I thought those were strong. I'm going to give them a 9.2.
Mr. Gullible, how come a Russian procrastinator is a put-it-off? How was my Russian accent on that?
A put-it-off?
Yeah.
Like Putin?
Put off. No, Putin I don't believe is in this. I think you're going to like this one. Put it off. P-U-T-I-T-O-F-F.
Okay.
How come when my doctor told me that my DNA is backward, I replied, and?
All right.
Tell me you don't like that.
I don't know why his DNA would be backward, but I'll give it a 9.
And a half. Mr. Gullible.
Is there more? Wait, there's more.
All right. You're going to have to help me on this. John Patrick. Hi, Bud and Les. How come after I bought a book titled How to Hug, I realized it was volume 8 of an encyclopedia? I think I get it now. like Shaw to...
Look, here's why this is only a 4.5.
Because I don't get it?
We needed one of the crack research guys.
Some millennials to come in and tell us,
explain
what the heck does this mean?
And
no,
they shouldn't be able to explain encyclopedias to anybody, and they still got it.
How to hug, meaning we're going from H to the end of the H's. How hug. Hug has to be the last H, right? Alphabetically?
Yeah, you would think. Yeah. But how wouldn't be the first, so...
No,
you know
so
what
you got to
saying?
take, 4.5. You know, you're right. You acted swiftly.
I'm like Roger Goodell. I'm not indefinitely suspending him, but he's going to have to appeal to get it up to a 5.0.
There does seem to be some bad vibes going on between Mr. Gullible and Mr. Patrick. I think the referee ought to keep eyes on it. All right, we've run over, but that's okay for 30 seconds if you have 30 seconds. If not, I can say goodnight.
No, I don't have anything new on this. I know some people, Browns fans, I can tell, are upset with the local media, and I was told today it's because they think that they should support the Browns. And I tried to make the point that that's not really our job, and they think it was just very negative that nobody had come out and said that Myles Garrett was excessively suspended and Rudolph didn't get anything. So I said, well, listen, if I believed that, I would be the first to say it. I just don't believe it.
I'm just not part of that local media that backs them in any way, shape, or form. I'm not part of the media. I just come here at 6 o'clock, except tomorrow at 3 o'clock to do the show.
Well, let's say, hey, I think there have been, as I told him, I think there have been positive stories written about Chubb, about the Seibert, Gillen, guys that have really stood out this year, I think have gotten good publicity. And we're going to see if they win 3 or 4 in a row, then they'll turn the narrative around themselves.
Do you know what that music means?
That means we got to go.
We got to go. Bud Shaw's tremendous. Dennis Manoff tomorrow doing it live from 3 to 4. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.